Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about a type of Dungeons & Dragons source book, which needs to, a Dungeons & Dragons canon hardback that needs to be replaced, an entire category of them. All right, so what are the categories of D&D canon hardbacks? Well, you have, and by the way, the ones we're going to replace is the Anthology. All right. So, what type of D&D canon hardbacks exist? Well, it's a very specific grouping, and let's walk them through. Okay, core rule books. These are big deals. They don't come out that often. They only come out every few years, like literally like every 10 years. Like we've had 51 years, and there've been 6 editions of six. Actually, there aren't even 6 editions. There are just 5 editions, right? So there are, in 51 years. So they literally last a decade on average, right? So core rule books are really special, but they don't come out often, right? So they're a very special category. Next is adventure books. These are very common. The Shattered Obelisk is a good example of this. Rime of the Frost Maiden is a good example of this. So that is a type, okay? There's another type. These are very rare, but it is absolutely a type. And let's talk about that type. And that type is, what type is it? Oh yeah, utility books. There have only been 2 of these, but these are Cauldron of Everything, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, and Xanathar's Guide to Everything. Okay, these were extremely important books. Yeah. Also, there are setting books. So I would put Spelljammer in this grouping, and I would put Planescape into this category. By the way, settings are now generally done as slipcases. Well, you know what? I guess that's wrong, because we have new setting books coming out for Faerun right now. But generally settings, there were 2 that were done as slipcases, which I thought were very interesting. I love them. Everybody seemed to complain, but what are you gonna do? All right. So then you have anthologies. Okay. So anthologies are Tales of the Yawning Portal, Quest from the Infinite Staircase, Keys to the Golden Vault. Dragon Dells was an anthology. So this is another type of book. And this is the entire point of this video. It's time to retire these anthologies. Bangers and clangers, right? Banger book. Actually, a banger product. Heroes of the Borderland. Absolutely fantastic. Or Curse of Strahd. That's a banger. Like, it is it's almost universally loved, right? And it's a big deal. Like it's definitely a thing, right? And it's important to think about that, right? And so you have that situation going there, and bangers. These are bangers. Clangers. It's my contention. Literally, Candlekeep Mysteries. Every single anthology has been a clanger. Clang, clang, clang goes the trolley. 6, 7, like it's not that good. It's just not that good, right? So we should replace it. All right. So what do we replace them with? All right, here we go. So not a new, I'm not saying, hey, this should be a new D&D book. I'm saying this should be literally a new category. And there should be like 10 of these over the next 10 years, right? Or maybe 5 of these over the next 10 years. Here you go. All right. Between 5 and 10. All right. So character codex. What the heck is a character codex? So first of all, if you don't know, man, Paizo, they did some things right. Okay. Their epic campaign book is a type of book that they created that has literally never been done by Dungeons & Dragons, and it was done better than anything Dungeons & Dragons has ever done in that milieu, like building buildings and building organizations. Like Bastions was a little bit of it in the 2024 core rule books, but like Bastions, there's a whole book in Pathfinder for that, and it was incredible. There's another book. This book is incredibly important in the milieu of Pathfinder. So let's talk about it. the NPC Codex. It is fantastic. The entire book is filled with non-player characters in one book. It's like a 256-page book, and every single NPC in the book has a name, has a class, has a different level, and it's fantastic. It is just one of the best tabletop role-playing game books ever done, and they've never done anything like it in D&D, okay? But not only could we do it, we could make it better, right? And so this is a type of book that we could do. All right, so let's dig into this. So first of all, Scott, are you saying we should do an NPC Codex as the new type of books? No, character codex. Well, what's the difference? All right, this is extremely important. There are some innovations that happen in tabletop role-playing games. Not every innovation, not every major innovation in tabletop role-playing games happens on Dungeons & Dragons, just most of them. All right, so let's talk about an innovation that is very helpful that we should really think about. All right, Marvel Multiverse Role-Playing Game. One of the best innovations that game ever did is it has every book they print, a third to half of the book is just characters. Just like the NPC Codex, it's a character that is expressed in one page. Okay, this is the model, right? But here's what Marvel Multiverse Role-Playing Game did that was absolutely brilliant. In Marvel Multiverse Role-Playing Game, there is absolutely no difference between a non-player character and a player character. They simply make characters, and then the Dungeon Master can use them as non-player characters, or the players can use them as player characters. Dungeons & Dragons should switch to this model. So if we did a character codex, you could do a 256-page book, and here's what you would do, okay? You would do it by setting. So like let's do Eberron, okay? You would do 256 pages of characters, right? And these are each one page long, and they each can be used as player characters or non-player characters, right? And this would, and I think this should be binding, right? There's a lot of things where you're like, oh, the Dungeon Master could do what they want. F that, right? Let's get rid of that, okay? I think Dungeons & Dragons should begin impinging on Dungeon Master powers significantly, all right? So if you buy this book and your Dungeon Master runs Eberron, you can run anything you want in that book. Any character in the book. Doesn't matter what level they are, doesn't matter what species they are. If your Dungeon Master runs Eberron, you have free reign to run any character in the book. Why is that so important? Why do we have to do that? Well, Dungeons & Dragons has a major problem. Its books are only bought by Dungeon Masters, and the reason why is no player ever knows if they can run anything in any book. And we need to stop this. We need to just say, hey, if you're running this world, that, if you're running this established Dungeons & Dragons setting, your players can use anything in this book. They do not have to ask you. They don't have to ask you anything, right? They can run anything. They're fully provisioned and they're fully permissioned. That's the deal, right? Same thing here, right? You run anything you want, right? And it gives ownership to the players, and it gives them a reason to buy the books. And I really believe this would be powerful because it would stop DMs from feeling they have to buy every single book. And you could have a situation where the Dungeon Master is borrowing books from a player. We need to reach this. This is very important and extremely needed. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.